The hedge fund space is really, so just like the accounting practice is headed up by myself and Lynn Montag. The hedge fund practice is headed up by Greg Zoraian and John Zoraian. And we got started in the hedge, so initially it was myself and Greg that were the firm's partners. Lynn came to work for us over 10 years ago at this point. With regards to the hedge funds, Greg's brother John had tremendous experience in the hedge fund area. He was with Pete Marwick. I mentioned before I was with Ernst & Young. Really, I was with Ernst & Winnie, to date myself a little bit. But with regards to the hedge fund, so John started working with a hedge fund in the late 70s, early 80s. Grew up with the fund, without going into all the details, that grew to be $20 billion. John was the controller and then CFO and then eventually the head trader there. So he saw a lot of what went on at hedge funds. And in the early 2000s, we were starting to look for our specialties. And John was looking to get out of that rat race a little, because when you're the head trader for a $20 billion fund, if you're on vacation and there's a correction in the market, you're in your hotel room in front of a computer, and that's what you're doing. And John wanted a little less of that rat race. So a couple of his friends had told him that hedge fund administration was a growing area, or an area that he thought that we could start and grow. And what administration is so basically what happens is that you've got an investment manager that wants to trade, that enjoys the trading part of it, but doesn't want to deal as much with the investors or the accounting or the back office. So what we do is, on a monthly basis, we get information from the brokerage houses. We, looking at the documents, we know what the expenses are and should be and what should go through that hedge fund. And we record all the transactions. We run the P&Ls by the investment managers to make sure that they sign off on everything. Once they sign off, then we send the statements out to the individual investors. So the individual investors have somebody that's looking over, so a third party. We're not auditing, but we're at least getting the information from a third party and preparing the accounting so that you don't have a Bernie Madoff situation. And what happened, what was bad luck for the investors in Bernie Madoff's fund, was fortuitous to us, in that when we started the practice, that was probably a couple of years before the whole Bernie Madoff situation occurred. And once that occurred, then every hedge fund needed an administrator. Before that, it was sort of elective, whereas now everybody really needed to have one, so that there is some outside company looking over the books and records.